let's narrow it down to this now, because this will come in along the way, really. You say you're keen up behind the NBA.
Yes.
The NBA says that decision it doesn't have anything to do with the feud, actually.
Yes.
But that the process, that they expect the CJN to respect the court process.
Yes.
But then, looking at the situation now, would you say the action of the president to appoint or accept the recommendation of NJC is wrong all by itself?
Yes, you see, that's why we wanted to begin from the beginning. Now, it's, I don't think it's right.
Why not?
With the profoundest respect. I don't think it's right. Because you take a look at it. The suspension or so-called suspension of the PCA is irregular. It's unconstitutional and therefore illegal. So why would we now appoint somebody in his stead when the suspension in the first place is irregular? Don't forget, there are so many things to say about this. There is the hackneyed Latin maxim, you know, nemo judes esse impropria causa. No person may act as a judge in his own cause. I just told you that of the 22 members of the of the NJC, 15 of them are the direct appointees of the CJN.
What was the president supposed to have done when NJC made the recommendation to him?
Well, the president, you see, don't forget that the president alone cannot sack anybody and then say this. You see, for example, the NJC can discipline any hearing judge. For example,
what would that discipline include? Can it not include suspension?
No, look at it. Suspension is there when a judge has gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, or he is going from the sublime to the ridiculous, or is alleged to be going from the sublime to the ridiculous. Now, the NJC has the right to say, okay, let us look into these matters. Let us investigate into the allegations. Meanwhile, go on leave, go on suspension. Yes, that's there. But when the suspension comes after the inquiries, after the investigations, it becomes punishment.
Okay, that's what
I mean, I don't know whether you are with me.
That's discipline. That's under disciplinary.
It could come before the investigations. Go away while the investigations.
But isn't that a disciplinary measure?
It's a disciplinary
which
measure.
Which the NJC has the power.
I want to be understood. Before the investigations start, the NJC has the right to say go on suspension while the investigation, so that you don't remain in office. But after the investigations, you suspend him, it becomes punishment, which you have no right to do. That should belong in the court of the president himself, and who cannot alone do that, because he must do that one acting on an address, you know, supported by 2/3 of the Senate.
Mr. Akere, add this straight.
Yes.
Based on the Latin maxim, no one is expected to be a judge in his own case.
Yes.
How many of them should have gone on that suspension?
How many of them should have gone on the suspension?
Yes.
Correct. I'm saying that, in fact, the suspension ought to have come when that the first committee was constituted, headed by Justice Umaru Abdullahi. Yes. Then there was another committee that was appointed to review the Umaru Abdullahi panel report. Now, that was the point when the two of them, the CJN and the PC, ought to have been suspended.
Both
of them. Because you see, the CJN was not accused as chairman of the NJC. He was accused as CJN. So he shouldn't remain in that office while investigations were going on. The PCA ought to have been suspended. Ought to have been sent on some kind of leave while investigation. The CJN ought to have been sent on the same type of leave.
Okay, we'll establish that.
Yes.
But could you, maybe I missed it, what did you say the president should have done again when NJC made that recommendation to him?
The NJC that made this recommendation, is not the proper NJC, considering that the chairman of this NJC is the CJN.
So what should the president have done?
The president ought to have, he ought to have been advised to ignore this suspension request. You see, and he should have asked the two people to be sent packing.
The president?
Yes, he should have. asked the Senate.
Is that?
Yeah, that's what the Constitution, if you go to Section 292 of the Constitution, that's what the President ought to have done. He should have requested the Senate, considering, you see, I don't think I'm not convinced at all that the PCA was wrong in what he did. I don't think he was wrong. But he was wrong in the other case involving Osun State or maybe Ekiti State, when all those, there was surreptitious communication between some council and the PCA at that time. He didn't do that right. So as far as I'm concerned, both of them should be sent packing. You don't do this one unilaterally. I mean, then you don't do it on just one side.
Do you sniff politics here?
I beg your pardon?
Do you sniff politics here?
Oh, yes, you can smell politics. And this is, we are talking of law, not politics. The moment you begin to mix politics with law, you will be going the opposite direction.
Tonight you're talking about removal of judicial officers from office.
Yes.
A judicial officer shall not be removed from his office or appointment before his age of retirement, except in the following circumstances.
Yes.
In the case of CJN, PCA, Chief Judge, it goes on. Perhaps you just want to go
down there. Go down there.
Praying that he be so removed for his. Where is that?
No. Go to the bottom of it, of what you are reading.
Because earlier on you did say that the president has got to confer with the Senate.
The Senate, yes.
That,
yes, he has to do that because he can't do that alone. He has to act on an address supported by 2/3. Are you on Section 292? Correct. You see, now, yes, you can see that the territory by the president. He can be removed, any judicial officer or any of these belonging to these categories, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, President of the Court of Appeal, Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, and so on, can be removed from the office by the president acting on an address supported by 2/3 majority of the Senate.
So the president can do this?
Yes.
Why should he not accept the recommendation of NJC?